would have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
Congratulations on winning our Oscar pool, Kenton.
It's funny that I didn't even think of it that way because I got 19 out of 24. You
Really
got what,
good.
15?
12.
Oh, well,
I was
50%.
doing well till we hit the major awards. I went all in
Wow.
on 1917, and that failed me because, of course, Parasite won.
What
a
did
bunch of
Chris
big awards.
get out of 24?
Chris got 15, I think he got. So a little bit
Okay.
better than me, and he said he was happy with that. And I know this is the Star Wars Nerds, and we'll talk about Star Wars in a second,
Yeah.
but I just thought, but if we wait till next week on Media Nerds to talk about this, nobody's going to care. So we're coming off
Yeah.
the Oscars.
And
you
Star
know,
Wars was nominated. It's on
but it
topic.
didn't win, and that was very surprising to me.
Well, there's as I was filling out the ballot, and at first, and maybe the reason I don't think of it as a victory, because at first I was like getting them all right. Like the first,
me
the
too.
first 10
Yeah.
awards, I
all
was
the,
like,
all the technical
yeah.
awards I was getting right and all that stuff. Yeah,
I was
for
like,
sure.
I am on fire. I even chose the short feature.
Oh,
like, stuff
really?
like, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was like, oh, Lady Luck is smiling on me, and then there was some surprise, and I wasn't necessarily opposed to those twists and turns. I like a lot of the ones that won. The only category that I chose with my heart and not my head was Best Documentary. I chose Forrest Sama because I thought I was like it. And I actually have a trouble choosing between that and Honeyland. But my brain told me American Factory would win, and it did win.
Okay.
So there's a couple like that where I was like, I probably should have, once again, leave your heart out of it.
Cold
Calculating logic.
The lesson I learned this year is that I really can't go into this trying to vote with my heart on any of them because you're never going to get it right, and you have to really kind of try and put yourself in the minds of the voters of the Oscar voters, which I thought I was doing by picking Marriage Story, but everyone thought I was crazy. I just didn't like the Joker as much as everybody did, I guess. I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was blowing like an amazing
I thought it was
performance.
fine too.
It's fine, but it's
yeah.
not like a I don't know. I
didn't hate it, but I'm also never going to watch it again. Let's put it that way.
I thought his speech was better than his performance in the. No, I'm just joking.
I liked his speech. When he started talking about little baby cows, and then I was like, "This is not going to end well." But yet he did. Yes, he managed to salvage it from the baby cows. I was like, way to go! Like that's tough.
Yeah, for
he
sure.
dug himself a hole and dug out, as opposed to Renee Zellweger, who just kept digging. Renee, she's. The next,
they didn't play anybody off, They didn't do that for anybody. I think most people were pretty good about the length of the speeches, but those two were not. But they did not play them off. I guess with those major categories, you don't play them off.
Because then that becomes the story.
Right, exactly. Interesting.
They almost played off Parasite. They almost played it off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And everyone's like, oh, no, we want
That was the only time it happened, at the very last
But I think there was a miscommunication. I thought they were done. And then, of course, the big surprise to everybody, having Eminem come out there and perform his Oscar award-winning song from 2003.
The link, they should have actually said, and even Eminem said afterward, he had a brief interview with the Hollywood Reporter where he said when he was originally nominated, it was sort of totally off his radar. He didn't really know what was going on. And his agent even apparently was like telling him about it and at the time, and he was like, I don't know what this is, sort of thing. And
he didn't know what the Academy Awards was?
No, he really didn't. He
I
said,
don't know about that.
He said he just didn't. It was so far off his radar, and people were enjoying what he was doing, and he had other things to think about. And so he's like, "Yeah, I think I'll do it." But I thought I had trouble recognizing him at first.
But also, like, what the hell is he doing? That song is better than any of the other songs that were nominated this year. So let's just give that song another Oscar.
Let me think. Was there any song?
There was nothing.
Even that Elton John was.
Yeah, it was
lame,
not very weak. Very weak.
That was a lame shadow of what Elton John and Bernie Taupin can write.
Yeah. So I think that. It was a fun watch, but in the end, it was fine the way it turned out. I will say, other than The Irishman, which didn't win anything, which I loved that it didn't win anything, other than The Irishman, I liked all the Best Picture nominees, so it was a good year for movies.
Well, and when Parasite won, it was such a shocker. It was a jaw dropper.
Yeah, it's always fun, though, when that happens.
And winning... Okay, your best foreign film. It's like the night's over.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, it's not.
That's all I could have hoped for was to get that, and then no.
It actually
director, Editing, did it get edited? No, Ford versus Ferrari got editing.
Yeah.
Director and Best Picture it got, and then that was a surprise. I thought when he got director, I'm like, okay, fine, but they'll give Best Picture to 1917. Nope. So
1917 was almost nothing.
it got a lot of the little technical ones. Like I said, it got all the costume design and that kind of stuff. No, that was Little Women.
I thought, yeah, that's right. Hey, oh yeah, that's right. The two categories that I cynically predicted were costumes because they loved the
period
piece,
yeah,
and they did, and also Bombshell for makeup. Yes,
they did.
The fake nose continues
right.
its dominion over Oscar.
That's
you
funny.
put someone in a fake nose, you just get ready for that makeup Oscar.
That's right.
You get it.
So Star Wars did not win anything. I didn't expect it to win for special effects. I thought it would for sure win for a score because it is John Williams' last thing. He's 88 years old. He's probably not going to be working a ton more, but they ended up giving it to
Joker.
It was Joker, and it was this young kind of up and coming female composer, which is fine. But I mean, I was just surprised that they didn't give John Williams a final kind of award.
Ultimately I was torn between those two, just ripped to shreds, and then I ended up going with Joker because I thought, all right, this is not going to win. It's going to get actor. I think that was pretty clear, and I was like, what else would they give it as a consolation prize? And I eventually settled on that.
Yeah.
But I hoped John Williams would win that.
Yeah. So and then they gave Martin Scorsese a pity standing O because he didn't win anything. But Bong Joon-ho kind of gave his nod to that's Martin Scorsese. He influenced me, and we wouldn't be anywhere, which is absolutely valid. And they were giving him a standing O, and he's like, yeah, whatever. You should have given me the Oscar.
And Scorsese seems like a very nice guy. Yeah. When you see him, good sport, laughing at jokes. About the joke about I like the first season of The Irishman. That's funny. Good joke. Yeah. Long movie, funny. But I also, I've said that Irishman sort of left me cold too, to the extent that there's almost something about it that I think I missed. There's almost something that I think
I agree. Yeah.
I think maybe I need to.
For me, it got lost in the translation to my phone screen, watching it on the bus on the way home every day.
See, I didn't do that. I watched it.
I did that out of spite. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take any other time out of my day for this.
When I was watching the film, I kept thinking, oh, it's nice to see these actors again, but I never really became embroiled in the film.
Yeah.
Not like Goodfellas or Casino, where I was just like, oh, even today, I could watch both of those today, and it would seem like it would they're long movies, but they always go by so fast. Whereas Irishman, it does not go by fast. It goes by quite slowly. No. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're not going to talk any more Oscar stuff, but we are going to talk about some Star Wars clickbait.
Oh, Jabba.
What? How?
What are you talking about?
Huh? What? Goodness gracious me.
I have an issue with the headline. The headline is the full original Star Wars 9 script has supposedly leaked. I don't like the word supposedly there. And it gives fans the ending they deserved. I just don't like this headline because it's like, what is the ending we deserve? Why? Yeah. What does that mean, the ending? I guess I have to click to find out. Well, I clicked on it. You don't have to. But essentially what the story says, the first paragraph, this is from Esquire, by the way, 16 pages into the recently leaked script for Duel of the Fates, which may or may not be completely fake. An alien is executed by a lightsaber guillotine. 5 pages after that, Kylo Ren's face is violently mutilated by a surge of red lightning. His skin is later scalded with a mask made from burning hot Mandalorian iron. In the end, Rey's eyes are cauterized, and Hux, now a Chancellor of the First Order, commits seppuku with a decorative lightsaber. That's kind of the broad strokes of the story here. And again, this has been going on for a few weeks, and I'm surprised that this is still in the news. But there's really not been a ton of other Star Wars news out there to kind of dethrone it. But
Trevorrow has confirmed that art that leaked.
Yeah, there was some. Yeah, so there's that. This thing, this piece right here.
That's new, right?
It is new, but it's like this convinces me that this whole thing is fake. I don't think that this is a real script. I think somebody wrote it to match the art that was leaked.
Oh, well, and there was what was it that leaked before?
A portion of this leaked, the broad strokes of it leaked, and so somebody that was 2 weeks ago. So
that was the person on Reddit, right?
Yeah.
Who described what happened.
Yeah,
right.
So this person has now had 2 weeks to actually write the full script, which is now what is leaked. The full script is leaked of the film, and so I don't think this is real. It's all it does is kind of serve to show us that Now, everyone's saying this is way better than The Rise of Skywalker actually was. And so all this is saying is, okay, yeah, they could have come up with some better ideas for this film. And I don't think this was the actual script they were working with. They had to have what do you think the reason was? Why do you think they fired Trevorrow? Do you have a speculation on that?
It could be anything.
Well,
I mean,
it could have
who
been
knows?
a personality conflict. It could
Yeah.
have been, at the time, his movie Book of Henry was not well received. He had a bit of a flop on his hands there. But no, they never really were clear about why they let him go, right?
I don't think they were, and that means it could be anything.
Yeah. It's tough to say, but I just think
And
this.
certainly he's not alone. 'Cause
Well,
it's
no,
everybody
exactly. Yeah,
else's-
there's been a whole rash of firings of directors, but I just think that this is just another platform from which people can complain about The Rise of Skywalker and how much it quote unquote sucks. And I still have not seen it the third time that I said I was going to see it. It still is in theaters. I could go see it if I wanted to.
So could I, but
I'm probably not going to. At
I'm
this point.
paying for Disney Plus right now, and I know it's going to land there. So
Yeah, have you used Disney Plus since The Mandalorian ended?
Clone Wars starts next week.
Right.
So,
okay. So they're
uh,
gonna keep us hooked in. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, and that's okay. Like, I want new content on
Yep.
there, or else I will pull the plug until the Mandalorian comes
I
back.
was about to pull the plug, and then Kirk Douglas died, and then I watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea because I want to see Kirk Douglas.
Oh, I
movie.
should probably watch
So
that
it's
too,
a
yeah.
good movie, and he is so good in that.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
I saw that in the theater when I was a kid.
Oh wow!
Yeah. What year did that come
Well,
out?
it was released in the 50s. So you must have seen the re-release of it. or
yeah,
something.
yeah. It had to be a re-release, but I did. It was probably one of those double features.
Yeah, okay.
That they used to run. Yeah, it had to be.
I'm sure that I saw it on TV during The Wonderful World of Disney when they used to
Yeah.
show the movies on Sundays. But yeah, like Disney Plus, they do have that coming up. They've also confirmed, I think someone's confirmed that the Diego Luna series, the kind of the Rogue One prequel, I guess it is. Obviously,
Yeah.
it has to take place before
Yeah.
Rogue One, is starting to film this year. And we do have Mandalorian Season 2 confirmed for September. So there is going to be lots of Star Wars content coming to Disney Plus. Are you going to rewatch any Clone Wars before the new series starts?
No, I got it out of my system. I watched the entire. I've not missed an episode.
Yeah.
There might have been one or two I fell asleep during or something like that might have happened, but I'm good. I remember a lot of it, and the stuff I don't remember, I probably don't need to watch again.
I never did watch the entire thing. I kind of watched a good chunk of the first couple of seasons, and then I kind of fell off of it. But I think I might go back and find a guide somewhere to show me like the best episodes and what to watch, because there is a lot of filler in there. It is a full like 20 something episodes per season, 5 or 6 seasons or whatever it is. So there's a lot of episodes of that.
They go by
series.
pretty quick, I
Yeah.
have to say. Like, they're shorter episodes, and the storylines are pretty good. But the jumping around could make you crazy
Right.
because of the way they.
But I think what this new season will do is it actually leads into either Rogue One or into Episode 4, as far as like taking. Oh no, sorry, Episode 3 rather. It leads into Episode 3 right until like to the point where I think that where the what's his name is kidnapped. Palpatine is kidnapped by Dooku and all that other stuff that happens at the beginning of Episode 3.
Right.
So I think that's where this series will end. So we have kind of a continuous storyline there.
Yeah.
I have not been playing Fallen Order as much as I would like. I finished the Kashyyyk level, which is a lot of fun. I love it when should we talk spoilers or no on this?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's been out for so long.
It's been out for a long. Anybody
yeah.
who wants to play it should play it. But the part where I love that level where you climb all over the walker on Kashyyyk and you got to kind of jump around and find your way in there. and
Oh,
then fight
yeah, I
the guys.
forgot about that, yeah.
See, at some point when we were talking about The Mandalorian, you said you love to see parts of Star Wars that we never saw before, like
Yeah.
the inside of a
Right.
crawler, right? Sand crawler. Well, we get to see the inside of a walker for the first time in this video game, which was a lot of fun because you go in there and you have to kill the stormtroopers
There's
in there.
something. What's going on in the back again? There's like a way you got to jump down.
Yeah,
There's like
you
it was kind
basically-
of hard to
You
see.
basically have to kind of crawl, and it was tough. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, yeah.
You have to crawl, grab onto the vines hanging off this thing all
right.
the way around it. You have to go all the way around it, and then finally jump on the top and kill the stormtrooper sticking out of the port.
And then when you get in, there's something weird. There was something that it took me a while to
There's a
figure
couple
out.
guys in there, and you have to kind
Yeah.
of go through, I don't remember the details, but then you get in there and you start controlling it, and you can start shooting
That's
different
fun.
things down. And then freaking Saw Gerrera pokes his head off.
Yeah.
He's hanging off the side of it. I'm like, what? What's going on here? And it's freaking Saw Gerrera. And I thought, oh, that's so cool to have him
Yeah.
in that as well. So that was very cool. But at this point, now I'm back on the other planet that I was on before.
Oh god, the
whatever.
revisiting.
Well, I said I
yeah.
don't like. That's what I don't like about the game is that they repurpose these levels.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I want to find something new. I don't want to repeat this. I want to go on to a different level.
Fast travel
Yeah.
would take that game from being an excellent game to being a fantastic, like one of
I
the
wouldn't
all-time
even say it's
greats.
an excellent game. I would say it's an okay game at this point.
Ooh, wait, the story.
Yeah,
like
the
the
story's-
shocking thing is the story is really good.
Yeah, the story. That's the thing. That's the only thing kind of keeping me wanting to come back to it is the story.
And it ends big.
Okay, well,
It ends big.
I guess I'll get through it eventually.
I'm telling you, big finish. A terrifying big finish. I'll tell
Okay,
you.
I'm getting a little tired of not running into any of these. What do they call them? The adjudicator. What do you call those guys with the weird lightsabers?
Oh, the
I want to say adjudicator. I don't think that's what it is. You know what I mean?
yeah. What can I think of? What the
don't know.
the Have you done the level with the Night Sisters and all that?
No, I haven't done that yet. Okay.
This is ridiculous that we can't remember what that's called. You're looking it up.
I don't even know what to look up. What do you call these guys? I don't even know what to look up.
There was one on Rebels, right?
The Inquisitors.
Inquisitor. Thank you. Adjudicator.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I always think of Mel Brooks, The Spanish Inquisition. When the
Well,
Inquisitor
that's
says-
Monty Python.
No, that's Mel Brooks, The
Oh, is it?
Spanish Inquisition.
Monty Python
Oh
did
no,
it too.
that's right. They do Nobody Expects the Spanish Inquisition. Mel Brooks does the musical of the Spanish Inquisition in the history of the world.
Right. Okay.
The Inquisition. Da da da.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, you started a new Instagram account that I think we should let some people know about in case you haven't seen
And you're
it.
doing a new fan quest that we need to tell people about too.
Yeah, but let's talk about your thing first.
Okay.
So this is at Star Wars Winnipeg is the account, and it is essentially an Instagram feed with various. What are you doing? What? It is an Instagram feed with various.
Sorry, I needed to get my footstool for when I do the podcast because I have restless leg syndrome. No,
Oh.
I don't. But I like at a certain point I need to shift and I need to change the positioning of my legs so that the blood flows to my head. I don't know.
Maybe that'll help you remember the
I
names.
made that all up, but I got a chair.
Okay, so you've started an Instagram account at Star Wars Winnipeg, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. You've got like anything related to Star Wars essentially, and Winnipeg, which is like a lot of it is your stuff. You have photos of yourself as a child with all your Star Wars stuff. You have photos of some of your toys on here. Here's a photo of all the different soundtracks you have all the CDs, all the soundtracks for all the movies. So it's a way for you to show off your collection a little bit, but also some other things as well on here.
Well, I'm also going to post stuff that I see, like stuff in stores and
Yeah,
whatnot. Like that's sort of something that it gets nothing in my regular Instagram feed.
I see,
It
okay.
like people just do not respond to it, and I think it's because my usual Instagram feed is like family and former students mostly, and current students, and you know what it's like, and so it's that portion of people who are motivated by fandom is not as large as if you start your own niche.
And
thing.
I do like it as a separate thing because it is, and the content is
Yeah.
really good. Like you're posting some interesting photos here. I like the. By the way, I never did thank you for that nerds thing you got me. You left on my desk. So you posted the photo here. It's the Star Wars nerds, literally Star Wars nerds. It's a nerds rope as it's called.
I couldn't believe it.
I didn't even know that those existed. A nerds rope, which is essentially a bunch of nerds stuck to something. What is stuck to some kind
Chocolate
of taffy or
taffy.
some kind of sticky
It's
thing.
not good for you, but
No.
but the fact that it's called Star Wars Nerds,
Star Wars nerds rope.
like
Yeah.
product tie-in.
So, and this is Dark Side Cherry. So I did enjoy that, and it was a nice surprise. You posted that on there. What else have you got on here?
It's just a variety of stuff, and what I'm doing now is, you know what happens when you start an Instagram account? You sort of need to, like, you can't just go, hey, follow me, guns blazing, let's do this, without any posts.
Right.
So you got to spend at least a couple months setting it up, beefing it up organically, kind of making it something that looks like something before you showed it from the rooftops. And that's sort of what I'm doing
Good amount
right
of
now.
content on here. Some of the stuff it looks like is just taken off your photo roll of different photos you've taken in the past.
Yeah.
Like this one of the stormtroopers at the football game. That's from like a couple years ago. when I did that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that. I post that for Super Bowl, and I'm just
Yeah.
trying to thematically tie it in. But I've also got some good photos from prior Comic Cons and from like a bunch of stuff like that, and you kind of I'm just sort of like, as I say, beefing it up, and then when I'll be ready to roll in the spring when there's a whole bunch of stuff, like your like FanQuest, and although you're having it in the fall now, right? You're
No, it's in June. It's still in June.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay. So just getting it loaded up and making it look like somebody lives there.
And now you've got a series here, Star Wars influences.
Yeah.
And it starts with the Hidden Fortress, which is that was one that Lucas always said was an influence on him,
and I love it.
And so you get these two guys in that. I mean, the story is very similar to Star Wars as well, because they have to rescue a princess from the Hidden Fortress. Hidden Fortress is the Death Star, but there are these two guys who are kind of the comic relief in that movie, and that's R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Sure is.
And then you've also got, now, are you coming up with these, or are these stuff?
No,
that other people?
It's just stuff I've sort of saved it over the years.
So you've got like a comparison of the shot from. Is it Rogue One, the sunset shot of the TIE fighters?
Oh no, that's actually, is that Rogue One? No, I don't believe so. I think that's Force Awakens.
Okay, and then that's very similar to the shot of the helicopters coming in from Apocalypse Now, and the Ride of the Valkyries scene with Robert Duvall. You've got 3PO, and then the robot from Metropolis. Very similar looking robots.
That's my favorite one.
That's a good one. Yeah. You've got North by Northwest. So you got Jimmy Stewart running away from is that Jimmy Stewart? No, who is that? Cary Grant.
Yeah.
Running away from an airplane, the same way that Rey and Finn were running away from TIE fighters in The Force Awakens. What else here?
There's a bunch of Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick. Gone with the Wind. Itself.
Itself, and I got a few more loaded up for another time, but I keep track of that stuff, and actually the place where I used to do all that was Pinterest. I post that stuff, and I was my Force Awakens pin board on Pinterest has done more than anything else I've ever done on Pinterest. And after that, it's kind of funny because I didn't post as much. I created a pin board for each movie. My frequency of pinning dropped, and the frequency of people looking for it dropped, as expected throughout the trilogy.
It does feel like things have gotten a bit quiet after this movie came out, after The Rise of Skywalker.
Well, we had The Mandalorian, we just had an embarrassment of riches of Star Wars. I probably would have held off on The Mandalorian if I were Disney until now.
Till right now,
yeah.
That probably would have worked better. It's interesting because
they needed it for sign up.
Well, they're now, like, we have no expectation of when the next film was going to come out. Like, we always knew up until right from when they announced the movies and they announced the first date, we knew we were going to get a new Star Wars movie every 2 years, and now we don't know when the next one's coming out. So there's a bit of kind of the unknown out there. We are focusing on Disney Plus and some other stuff right now, but they have to kind of give us some announcements soon as far as what the next steps are. As far as we know, Rian Johnson is still working on that trilogy. That's the only films that I'm aware of that are.
Might be a single film now. Like, I think they've.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did talk about that.
They've shown a calendar with single films coming up. Nobody knows what it is, kind of thing. At this point, there's no promo for it. There's no, it's like. Everything is in the state of flux except not the next season of Clone Wars and not The Mandalorian, which we know is coming back in the fall. Mm-hmm. So, and Cassian Andor, I think, is until 2021.
Yes, because
and then of course Obi-Wan's been delayed.
Okay, why has that been delayed?
You didn't hear about that? They went back to the well for scripts.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, yeah. And he said that people were asking him about it, and he's like, yeah, it's normal. It's like, happens all the time. It's not a big deal.
But yeah, and they've also apparently reduced the length of the series too. So, we'll see how that goes. But Star Wars right now is a TV franchise for now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You okay with that?
Oh my God, I love. To me, The Mandalorian was the best new Star Wars we've had. I like it better. I like The Mandalorian better than the recent trilogy.
I'm getting ready to rewatch it, I think. I was starting to think about that the other day. I would really like to rewatch some of these episodes and kind of revisit this.
I could watch it again.
Yeah.
I really could. I watched it twice.
You've already watched it twice, yeah.
Oh, actually more than that in some episodes, because I watched them I watched them twice when they first came out, and then I watched it again after that as a complete entity.
Okay.
It's good. It's fun to watch again. But Disney on the Apple TV anyway, you have to drag the bloody cursor back to the beginning of the
That's
show.
weird. Yeah.
Like it's like what? Hey, can't we have an option where we can just restart everything? I don't know. Maybe there is one, but I couldn't.
Well,
see what
Netflix
it
has
was.
that.
Yeah,
Netflix has always had that option.
Well, yeah, that's the default, but this I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
What else?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about your
So what do you want to talk about with
FanQuest? Well, the fact you're doing it,
Okay.
the fact that Star Wars fans might want to go.
Well, that's
The
see,
fact-
maybe
the
we can
location?
Yeah, so we are doing FanQuest again. It's going to be at the Bay downtown, which is a kind of an interesting venue. It's going to be really nice as far as the space goes. It's on the 4th floor, and it's a heritage building here in Winnipeg. So it's a really, really beautiful. Part of the tragedy of that building is they can't do much with it because they can't gut it because it's a heritage building, but nobody shops at department stores anymore. So what was once a 6 floors of like merchandise at the Bay is now like I think one and a half floors pretty much, and the rest of it is vacant. So I had the option to either get the basement or the 4th floor. The basement is actually huge. When you go down there and see what's down there, it's like enormous. It's actually about half the size of the current convention center space, which is huge in itself. So and the price was pretty good for that. I just wasn't confident that I could fill it all. I did not want to have a bunch of empty space down there. So I think that once we grow to a certain size, we can move to that basement maybe next year.
They had that lights of
the North there. Yeah, when I went to tour the space, they were
Yeah.
just kind of tearing that down. So there was, but again, it's huge. Like you think about all the stuff they used to have in that basement. They had a restaurant. They had their grocery store. When I lived downtown in the 90s, that's where I used to go grocery shopping because that was the only grocery store in downtown Winnipeg.
It wasn't the best grocery store.
No, but it was there. It was something. I didn't have anywhere else to
the
go.
best part of it was they had all the British chocolates that money could buy.
Yes,
down
that's right.
there.
Yeah,
That was pretty impressive.
That's true. So yeah, so we're on the 4th floor and we're excited about the space. I don't really have any current Star Wars related guests or anything coming in. I have not had a chance to really think of anything that might be interesting. Now, one thing I've been tossing around, there's a couple of guests I'm looking at bringing in that have to do with toy-related toy collections and toy-related fandoms. And I thought it might be fun to do another toy collectors panel. Remember you did that for me for the C4 event?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
You were great. The other person, maybe not so much. Her collection consisted of just Stitch.
Oh, that's right.
Remember? It was just stuffed stitches from
what,
Lilo
macrame Stitch?
No, just
I was like,
Stitch.
oh yeah, that's right.
For Lilo's. That was her whole collection. It was just
she
a different
She had some weird stories too. I remember.
Yeah. So, but you came in and you show us your Star Wars collection. You show us your blue Sabretooth.
Snaggletooth.
Sorry. and that's like, your prize kind of figure. That's like the
It's
rarest
everybody's favorite. Yeah.
So that was really good. But I thought I know a couple of other really big toy collectors in the city that we could bring in as well and have a panel talking about collecting, why you do it, what the benefits are, where do you draw the line. You could talk about how you don't really do it as much anymore, but you've got a lot of stuff.
Well, but you know what? A lot of it's availability. To tell you the truth, like if I had access to everything that came out, I probably would buy all all the 6-inch Black Series still. But what pisses me off is the gaps in the collection that you just. You get to a certain point where you just can't pay $100 on eBay.
You're talking about the option to buy it new in store as opposed to getting it from eBay or something,
well,
right?
eBay is always, the price is always jacked, and then they get you a second time on shipping.
Yeah.
So it's not a workable strategy over a long haul. It's okay to fill in like a blank here or a blank there. But if there was like entire waves that didn't make their way to the stores here, and you're just you're talking about $1,000 for something you could have bought in the store for for maybe a couple hundred. So yeah, you got at a certain point the math just starts to not work.
So the other thing that gave me this idea is there was somebody else, one of our artists, who's going to be I don't know if he's going to have his comic book ready, but he's certainly going to be selling some art at the event. But he also posts on his Instagram a lot of his figures, his toy figures. And one of the posts he had recently was, he said, these are the most useless or the most worthless Star Wars figures I own. And it was a collection of all the figures from The Phantom Menace, still in their cards, still in their packaging. And it's like that, like he went out and bought them all at Toys R Us or when they first came out. And I don't know what the value is on those, but it's probably not as much as most people were thinking it would be when that movie came out.
Right.
And now those are like almost 30 years old. Those 30? Is that right? No, 20 years old. Sorry. 20 years. 99 was Phantom Menace. So 20 years old now, and the value is not going to be going up anytime soon.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so I thought it would be interesting to kind of dive into toy collection. One of the guys I am looking at bringing in, I've been emailing back and forth with Toy Galaxy, which is a YouTube channel I've talked about here on the show a few times, and he's super nice. We're trying to figure out the logistics of it, but he's open to coming, and his collection is insane. Like, he doesn't just collect Star Wars, he collects everything. He's got so many. I don't know how. I suspect he just uses his YouTube revenue to pay for his toy collection. I think that might be the deal there, because
did he have good YouTube revenue?
He's okay. He's got about 250,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
So he's got a number of subscribers, and he's growing. And I honestly can't find anyone else putting out content like he does. Like he does these a couple different types of videos. He does a history of video, which talks about the history of either a toy line or a cartoon related to a toy line, or maybe he did actually the history of Max Headroom a couple weeks ago. So that's just like these kind of pop culture things from the 80s and 90s from when we were younger. And I think he's around the same age as us as well. And then he also does these in the box or these little kind of light box videos where he just you just see this platform. He puts his toys out for display and kind of poses them and stuff and shows us all the new stuff he's got. He did a top 10. Every year he does a top 10 figures that he buys. So he has of all the figures he bought in a single year, he puts them all in and kind of sorts through them and picks his top 10 favorite figures of that year. And now he's starting to go, because he started the channel in 2015. Now he's starting to go reverse backwards from 2014 and in previous years to show us all his toys that he bought before. So he's got a lot of toys. He's got tons. And so, yeah, I think it might be fun to delve into that a bit and to get some of our local collectors out to talk about that as well. So, and he also has the Boba set, as we've talked about, which is he just collects just figures, Boba Fett figures. He's got like 500 Boba Fett figures, and they're all like, some of them are all it's the same figure from, like, Empire Strikes Back or whatever. Like some of them are the newer ones, but he's got like 500 of them.
I wonder if he'll expand to the Mandalorian.
Well, he does. Yeah, I know he's got Mandalorian stuff as well. Yeah, I don't know if he counts that as part of the Boba set, because they're not Boba Fett technically, but he does have, like, for example, he has a toy of the John Favreau's character from The Mandalorian, the one with the big gun.
Yeah.
He's got that, and he's got all kinds of other stuff. So
wow,
yeah, he's got a pretty impressive collection. So yeah, we haven't not ready to announce him officially yet, but we are pretty close, I think, to making that all work and bringing him in here to talk about what he does.
What's the date again?
June. That's another change we made. It's now going to be early June, first weekend of June. So June 6th and 7th, which again works a bit better for us as far as not competing with as much stuff in June. Like the X is always at that time, Red River X, which is kind of our carnival. Other stuff we've been competing with. The other thing I like about the location is that everybody in the city knows where the Bay is. It's like that one of those locations you just know. You don't even have to say. You just say the Bay downtown, and everyone knows where that is. So it's very easy to find, and the parking situation is much better than it is here. Especially now we have all this construction going on around the campus where we've had FanQuest for the last 2 years, and it's even worse. So there's nowhere to park, and even when you do park, you have to go out and move your car. The Bay has a parkade attached, so people can just pay for parking, but there's also lots of street parking out there as well, so you can just park on the street.
Cool.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. June 6th and 7th. Again, we're kind of we're gearing up for more guest announcements in the next few weeks. But again, I'm looking for, if anybody's got any Star Wars related ideas, I'd love to kind of figure out more stuff to do as far as just celebrating Star Wars and that fandom, because it's my favorite fandom. It's what I love.
Well, you reminded me. I was actually thinking. Well, I'm definitely going to get my students to do a content marketing video where they're an influencer for something, and I was even thinking they could do FanQuest.
Yeah,
not so much.
I've had mixed results when I've done FanQuest related stuff with
because
the
they know
because I run it, so they probably think I'm just doing it for my own selfish reasons, and that's partially true. But it
makes it easy. It solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, right? It does. But it's also like, hey, I'll give you an example. So we're doing an assignment right now, which is the CreekCon 50th anniversary event, which is something that your students are working on for
their
proposal assignment. And
we're a week and a half behind, as a matter of fact. Now that you mention it.
So we are going to actually plan this event. It's going to be here at the campus. But I find with these assignments, you really have to get the students buy-in. They have to really want to do it when it comes to a real life thing, because they're putting it out there. They don't want to put anything out there that they're not proud of, I find, which is why they're always reluctant to tweet and post and stuff when we ask them to do that stuff. So yeah, we're just kind of working that out now, and I think it's going to be an awesome event. But with FanQuest, I think it'd be more difficult. It's easy to get students to buy into a celebration of the program that they're in, but not as many of them are. Like, there's a few of them who are fans of the stuff that we like. They like Star Wars and that kind of stuff, but not all of them would. So I think you would get some pushback from students on that. Maybe give them some options and make FanQuest one of the options.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It's up to you.
I was actually thinking of optional, like 3 potential clients.
Give them 3 different clients and let them choose, and they can do FanQuest if they want to.
The other thing that I do is I make the video unbranded so that it won't haunt like some poor client who doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who doesn't necessarily want to be associated with whatever it is we're doing over here. So it's like it's a challenge every year. To try to try to find a nice client who will understand, sort of thing.
Yeah, and also who give feedback to the students. By the way, they finished their Toad Hall Toys ads. I don't know if I told you that. Some of them turned out really well, and it's interesting because a lot of them go heavy on that toad pun. They really like the "I'm a toad, ribbit, ribbit," and they do lots of toad jokes. And so I'm sitting there, and we were listening to them in class, and I said, "Do you guys know where the name Toad Hall Toys comes from?" And nobody did. Nobody knew.
Nobody asked.
Nobody asked that question.
No. But you want to know the secret to the assignment every year? The secret, we go there and there's a giant sidewalk sale that's coming up.
Yeah.
I just keep my mouth shut. Just let them do whatever they're going to do. And then afterwards, like, anyone notice that sidewalk sale?
Oh, lots of them did the sidewalk sale thing.
Well, they did ultimately.
Oh, because you told them to.
Yeah,
okay, I get it.
But the first time through, that's one of the little elements that makes the timing perfect.
Well, it's
nobody notices.
That nobody knows that the generational gap is so big on Toad Hall that nobody knows what Toad Hall is a reference to. Right? It's The Wind in the Willows. It's the classic tale. Who wrote those again? I don't remember who wrote those, but
whoever that person was
with Badger and all those. I mean, I read those as a child. I read those stories, and they don't know that that's what that is, and so they all just think it's a toad. And even Mr. Toad. And is it the same Mr. Toad as Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? I believe it is a version of that.
They have a stuffed animal that's now their mascot on Instagram. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, and he's a cute little stuffed toad.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever. And I think I don't think he's the Hello My Baby Toad.
No. But there's a Mr.
Yeah.
So there is a version of Wind in the Willows that I think Disney did.
Yeah. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is based on that. So anyway, all right. What else? Any other Star Wars stuff we want to talk about today? See if I can find.
I don't think so. I don't think I have any. I don't have any other than our new Instagram and FanQuest coming. That's pretty big.
It's so tough to find. Like, again, it's very, very quiet right now for
Star
Wars.
and the Oscar stuff that we just discussed. Yeah, it hasn't been mad. Like if Star Wars, if John Williams would have won, I think that would have been a really nice thing that we could have. And I have the latest soundtrack to the most recent film, The Rise of Skywalker, and it's really good. I really like it.
Yeah.
I actually have one thing to say about it since John Williams didn't win. I want to say it's got the best, I think, final, when the credits are playing, the best final consolidation of all the themes that John Williams has written over the years. No Duel of Fates, sadly.
But it was in the
trailer only.
It was not in the movie?
No, not that I know of.
Come on.
Well, it's not. I shouldn't say that because the soundtrack doesn't cover everything in the movie, but I don't believe it was.
To be honest, I don't remember hearing it during the movie, but I thought that's some more like bait and switch from the trailer. I hate when they do that.
Well, because it's such a big song, like it's so big. Yeah. It implies that some massive events are happening.
Okay, I have something here for you. This is another one. Star Wars finally addressed Luke's lightsaber mystery. A good story for another time. This is... Okay, wait. This is talking about Luke's lightsaber that he loses when his hand gets chopped off in Empire Strikes Back. But there's a new comic book series that takes place shortly after The Empire Strikes Back. With Luke, Leia, Lando, Chewbacca, 3PO, and R2-D2 having to fight their way back to the Rebel Alliance. The second issue sees Lando ask Luke for a favor. He wants to return to Cloud City, but he doesn't think the Rebel Alliance will allow him unless Luke pretends he wants to go and leaves Lando as a guide. Lando has a tempting offer for Luke if he agrees. Lightsabers are about the rarest things in the galaxy these days. You losing yours had to hurt. Well, I know Cloud City inside and out, and I know where your lightsaber ended up when it fell. Get me back there and I'll show you. And then he has a flashback. And do they show it? I don't know. Oh, that's it. Okay, so they haven't gone there yet in the series. in the comic book series. But that's the next issue, I guess, of this comic. So they're going to go look for it. But I think regardless of what ends up happening, he doesn't get it. Clearly, he doesn't get it. He builds his own after that, right? So I don't think. I don't know. That's kind of a clickbaity headline too. Hey, that was clickbait.
Well, what else is online other than clickbait?
Yeah.
We have a wiener store replacing another wiener store. That's clickbait.
That's the biggest controversy in Winnipeg right now, Wienergate.
And by the way, that is the news. There is no news. There was a wiener store that sold wieners, and now a new wiener store is moving in.
No, but the first wiener store was forced out. That was the issue.
Wow.
The first wiener store was like, we don't want you here anymore. We want a better wiener store.
It's like, this new proprietor is concentrating more on schnitzel. You know, like.
Well, to be fair, it looks really good. The photo I saw shows
look good.
Shows a true Chicago style hot dog, which has got tomatoes and all kinds of other stuff on it, and it looks really good. I want to go and check it out. And Skinner's certainly never did serve anything like that.
No, it was like comfort food.
It was like hot dogs, burgers, and fries essentially.
Right.
It's like a little the drive-in over in Lockport is still there, so we can still go get Skinner's.
Yeah, but that's what passes for news here and where we're from. So clickbait to us is like very interesting news. It's like the New York Times to us.
Yeah, okay. I'm not seeing anything else out here of note that we want to talk about as far as Star Wars goes, but I'll try and work my way through more of that game so we can talk about this. At least try and get that story arc finished. We can actually talk about what happens there.
And even playing the game on the lightest level is still hard. So
I think that's something. Okay, yeah. So what I did one of those times, I was actually at the end of Kashyyyk when so at the end of Kashyyyk, you're on this kind of platform, and you have to fight another ATST, which is the exact same thing you fight at the end of the previous level. I'm like, I don't want to have to fight one of these again. So I did switch it over to easy mode for that, because I kept dying, and that's one thing I like about the game is that you can actually switch it over to easy mode. And then if you want, you can put it back to hard in the next level, so you can go back to normal mode. Yeah. But that I had to switch it to easy for that level because it was killing me. And there's no point in this.
I went one level above easy, whatever that is. So it's like story mode is the easiest. Yeah. So I went one above that, and even there, I was like getting killed constantly.
The best part of the game is when you're fighting stormtroopers, which you don't do enough because half the time you're fighting these stupid animals that are on the planet as well.
And they're monsters.
And
they're huge.
I don't even think of them as monsters. I think of them as indigenous life forms that we are killing because we are invading their natural habitat. I don't want to keep killing these things. I don't think it's very.
That's a good point.
It's not very light side to be killing these animals for no reason.
That's a very good point.
Sure, they're attacking you, but you're in their land. Like you're the one invading them.
Yeah, Jedi Knight should understand that.
Yeah, can't you put it to sleep or something? You should be able to.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
God damn it. There's another element of the game I don't like.
They're ripping the baby cows away from their mothers. No, I'm just joking. Okay.
Let's see how you're going to bring this back.
To what?
Just kidding. Well, because Yakeem said that and then brought back the speech.
Yeah, no,
won them back.
I have no way of doing that.
It's very hard to do.
I'm just going to end the podcast. How about that? We're going to do it that way.
You steal milk from baby cows. That's all I know, Dan.
Is it blue milk? Is it the four-teated thing that we saw in Last Jedi?
That we saw Luke aggressively drinking.
That's right. Oh, man. It's a living. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you in the ass.
Now I am the master.
TK421, do you copy?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power conversion.